guys, thanks for stopping by the channel. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys are going to love this tutorial today that we have. It has been requested a lot. This is how to make a quilt sandwich for a rag quilt. The way this came about, we were on a live, the last live we had, which was a few days ago. I was discussing my nephew's school and how they run a deficit of $700,000 a year. Every year, a deficit of $700,000 every year. They get very little funding because they're considered a charter school here in Florida. So they rely on donations and donation programs, auctions, that kind of thing to boost that and try to get them out of the hole a little bit. So what I'm doing is I'm donating 2 quilts. I don't have the fabric here to show you. One is a Florida State Seminole and one is a University of Florida Gator. And explaining this and explaining the cause behind it, Bettina in the last live had a wonderful idea. If everybody can make a few or 1 or 2 or however many your heart desires, different quilt blocks, send them to me, I'll sew them up and we'll do a third one. I do have to give them names, so the name I'm going to call this one that we're all donating to is the Community Quilt. It will go up for silent auction for my nephew's school. They just don't get a lot of funding, and it's a charter school, so it's neither a public or a private school. It's a charter school is what they're called. So a lot of people were asking for a tutorial on how to make these quilt sandwiches or quilt blocks to send them to me so I can sew them up. The ones that I make, there's tons of different ways to make this. The ones I know how to make, the ones that I'm requesting you guys make for this, is very simple. It's a 12-inch square, so you're gonna need 5 things. You're gonna need 1 of a printed, if you choose. It could be any fabric you want. It could be printed, it could be solid, it could be a design. This one is gonna be for my niece, so I'm making a Pokemon quilt for her. So this is my 12-inch pattern, okay? And then I have 2, when I say cheap, I mean the cheapest solids you can find, or you can use 3 of these. It doesn't matter. You're just gonna need 3 pieces of cotton. I tend to, on mine, color coordinate them. The one for the community quilt that we're making is not going to be color coordinated. That's part of its magic. This one, I thought since I'm going to go ahead and do a tutorial, I would show you what I'm doing and use my niece's for her Christmas, not for her school, for her Christmas. So she's not allowed to see this. Lauren, make sure Elena doesn't watch any further. So what I've got is, I've got 1 piece of pattern side up. I've got 2 pieces of solids. That's just it's just how I do it. So you'll need a cotton, and cotton. So you need 3 layers of cotton and 1 layer of flannel. So when you're going to make this, you're going to put the flannel. I just chose a single color flannel. Some people will do one with a print. If you're going to do one with a print, the print goes down, print side down, okay, that you want people to see on the quilt. So print side down. Then you just stack. The ones that you stack in the middle, this dark purple one and this light purple one, it does not matter what side up or down they go on. It truly doesn't matter. You just want to line it up as much as possible. They're not going to be perfect. And that's okay. That's okay. Nothing in the craft world is perfect. And that's what makes it so great. And then I put design side up on this. Now I'm going to ask Terry to zoom in a little bit here so he can see it, so you guys can see a little bit better. This is the quilt stack. It just looks like a 12-inch block, okay? So you have print side down of your flannel, right? 1 cotton, doesn't matter what color, doesn't matter what print. I just use cheap plain cotton. And then I do 2 layers, so that's, we got flannel, cotton, cotton, and then cotton right side up. And this is just what we kind of call a quilt sandwich. Okay, guys? So on the back, it should be what you want to be seen. On the top, what you want to be seen. Now, the reason why we do the 2 in the middle, see, these are already coming a little bit off, and that's okay, is when we sew it, we're going to fray these seams. So you're going to see a little bit of each one in between. Hold that thought. Let me show you what I mean. This is one that I started for my nephew. As you can see, we may have to zoom in for it. He loves Thomas the Train. But as you can see here, the way these are sewn, this is the back. He just wanted my sister just wanted just plain gray for him. And in the middle, I've got a navy blue, a red, and then my patterned one that I want on top. And see how they're sewn together? So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna come in and clip these, and it's gonna fray beautifully. When we get downstairs after I'm done filming this, I'm gonna film 2 other ones and show you, just show you 2 other blankets that I have completed. I did one this way and I did one the back way, and I'll show you both ways. But this is what I'm gonna take your squares and sew them into rows and then sew them into a blanket. So that's what it's gonna look like. So what I do, because you guys know I'm super careful, get all of this layered together, and then I'm just going to keep it so it keeps it squashed together while I take it over to the sewing machine. I'm just gonna pin it like this. And it seems weird to pin like this. Normally we pin in corners, right? But we're gonna sew in a corner, so we're not gonna be pinning the corners. So I don't know if Terry can get any closer to show you guys. But there's a pin here, pin here, pin here, and a pin here. We're gonna go over to the sewing machine and we're gonna sew a big X, corner to corner, corner to corner, and that's gonna hold it together. All right, so move you guys over to the sewing machine and I'll show you what I mean by that. Give me just 1 second. Hey guys, so here we are at the machine, and we're literally gonna start at one corner, back stitch, and then sew through. Back stitch again. That's one corner to corner. Doesn't as you can see, I used white thread. It doesn't matter what color you use. It truly doesn't, because it's not going to take away from it. You'll see what I mean when I'm done. I'm going to go ahead and do this one. Back stitch, slide through, back stitch. So that's what it looks like. I'm going to go back over to the table and talk you through a few things, okay? All right, so now we've got this. You can see, I'm gonna ask Terry to come in so you can see the imperfections. It's fine. Imperfections are perfectly fine for this quilt. See how it's off? And it's kind of off here? No big deal, guys. We're just gonna go ahead and take out our pins. Even with all that precaution I just did, pinning it, it still got off, and that's fine. Because we're gonna when we sew these together, we're gonna sew a 1-inch seam allowance. So like this one, hold that thought, hang on just a second. Should have had this out to begin with. So that's the square we just sewed. So this is what I'm talking about when I say that we're gonna do a 1-inch around seam allowance. That's what this is. And if you look, this is not perfect either. And that's fine. I'm telling you guys, don't stress about that, because this part is going to be clipped, washed, and then it's going to fray up. So the only thing that's really going to matter is that this 10-inch square right here. So I'm going to have, once I take an inch, an inch, an inch, an inch, it's going to be a 10 by 10 inch square, because we're dealing with a 12 by 12 right now. So we're going to, once we get this done, then I'm going to go ahead and sew another line, and another line, and another line until I have 72. I'm going to have to do a 9 by 8 of each one. I'm sorry, I need 72 of these, 72 squares to create a queen size quilt. A queen size quilt is 90 by 80. We're doing 10-inch square. I know we're saying that they're 12 inches, but that's not including the seam allowance. So with seam allowance, they're 10-inch squares. So we need to do 9 by 8, which is 72 squares. If my math is correct, if not, I look like a total idiot. That's okay, somebody correct me. So I have to do 72 squares for each Christmas quilt that I'm doing, and you guys know I'm doing a bunch of Christmas quilts. So these quilts that I'm doing, these rag quilts, the University of Florida Gator and the Florida State Seminoles, those are going to be done. I'm going to do those in the middle of January. So these are all due the beginning of February. I'm going to sew them up in the middle of January. So if you guys could start sending them, that would be fantastic. That way I can either, I'll be able to, if we don't get enough, if we don't get 72 from you guys, then I'll go ahead and supplement them till there are 72. If you guys could send them in no later than the middle of January, that would be fantastic. That'll give me a chance to see how many we have, lay them out, see how many I need to add. I'm going to go live to sew all of this together so you guys can see it all. You guys have been asking about a shipping address. So the shipping address is Dani Chao, D-A-N-I-C-H-A-O, and the shipping address is 3927 Progress Drive, and that's P-R-O-G-R-E-S-S Drive, suite number 101, Lakeland, all one word, L-A-K-E-L-A-N-D, Florida, 33811. I'm also going to link it below. I'm going to put all this information down below as well. So if you guys missed anything, if you guys have any questions, check down there or just shoot me a comment. I will be glad to answer anything you have. As always, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit that bell button. It'll let you know every time I go live. I go live a lot more than I do vlogs right now, and that's because I got a new computer, so I don't know how to use iMovie yet. So other than that, just a huge thank you in advance, and also please know for all of you that watch this, this is in no way mandatory. There is no pressure at all towards this. Please don't feel like you have to do it. This is truly somebody's idea on a live. Bettina Fink, we love you. Thank you so much for the idea. Thank you guys all who are going to participate, and those of you who are not, do not feel bad. This is not something that you should feel any pressure. It should just be out of a love for sewing. That leads me also to this another thing. If you do not know how to do this, and you do not know how to sew, or you do not have access to a sewing machine, cut up just some 12 by 12 squares and send them to me. I'll be glad to sew them up. Thank you guys again for all the support. His school, my family, bottom of our hearts, thank you more than you could imagine. Thank you guys for all the support, and I'll talk to you later. Bye guys. Hey guys, so I was talking upstairs about ragging and that kind of thing, and I didn't have one up there to show you. So I've got two down here. This is the first one. This is made, I just want to show you two different types that I've made and show you what I mean by that. See, this is the back. This is all flannel. It's coming apart because we've used it so much and it's so old. It's one of the first ones I made. Actually, that's not true. It was the second round. But you can see the back, print side up for the flannel. In the middle, let me pull this open for you guys so you can see flannel, one layer of cotton, second layer of cotton, and then the third layer of cotton print. And this is what I mean when I say fraying, like we fray the edges. If you can look and see right here, this is that 1 inch. This one was not a 1 inch. This one was a ½ inch, and I regret it. That's why I'm cutting them to 1 inch, making them 1 inch now. But you can see here where they all were sewn up, and then I don't know if you can see, if you can zoom in and see, but they're cut. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sew them together and cut them. And then that frays up really well because it's all cotton and flannel. I don't know if you can see this, but this is 8 layers, 4 and 4. So you can see that's what I mean by that. And this is done with flannel and cotton. This one was done with minky. And I want you to see the difference. This is why I don't use minky anymore. It's got flannel on one side, minky on the other. It is softer, I'll be honest with you, because you guys know minky itself is softer than flannel. But as you can see here, it doesn't fray. It just has the look of it being cut. Well, this is a super comfy blanket. You can ask Layla, I still call her, I meant Luca. Sometimes Layla still comes out of my mouth. Layla was our black lab that we lost a few years ago. I think it's because it sounds like Luca. But this is one of Luca's favorite blankets. She kind of comes in and takes over all of the soft blankets. But you can see they weren't even all the same color. This is one of the very first ones I did, along with the one on the bottom here. But you can see it doesn't fray up very well. It just doesn't look as nice. You can see it. Let me put this one here. And put this one next to it so you can see the difference. See the difference in fray, the way it looks? And it feels, this one doesn't feel as good here. So anyways, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take them and sew them into rows and create a rag quilt out of them. So I hope you guys, if you guys have any questions, leave them for me below. Leave a comment. Like I said already upstairs, thank you so much for all of the support. His school, my nephew and my niece, my sister, my brother-in-law, my mom and dad, my husband, everybody, my best friends, they all thank you from the bottom of your heart for your support. And again, thank you, Bettina, for having this kind, amazing, open-hearted idea. If you guys have any questions, leave them below. If not, I will talk to you later. Bye, guys. Brought to you by Dani Chao.